So this is a part two to the documentary. I can only film for 15 minutes each time, so I want to fit as much as I can in each one. I just want to say, like I put in the description, I'm going to put in this description, be yourself. Don't be something you're not to impress family members or other people around you. As a kid, I would always be crazy and strange and awkward and weird and annoying because I was skinny and my ears were weird and I didn't want people to make fun of me. So I would be crazy, strange, and weird. So people wouldn't, it would distract people. I was already smart back then when I was younger. I knew how to distract people from looking at my ears or problems. But now I just don't care. I say, accept me for what I look like or who I am, or don't accept me. I have learned in this society some people are so fixated on themselves that they can't accept people for who they are. And that's why when I have a job, if I get a job at a certain place like McDonald's, Safeway, Osh, some big places, you have to be fake to keep the job. And I just can't do that. I can't. That's why, just like every entrepreneur, I have to be myself. Because entrepreneurs, it's just they can learn things. They learn from their mistakes, just like me. But they can't take orders. They can't not be themselves. That's why they're so successful. They aren't like everyone else, so people look up to them. They're unique. They're a different breed of people. So let me get on with this. This is going to be my junior high to high school years. Junior high is when I was the most of a dick. It all started when I first walked into my science class. This is when it all started, when I became a popular kid. I'm not going to stop talking. I walked into Mr. Laird's class. His name was Mr. Laird. I was dyslexic and stupid. I can admit that. I was still in special ed, but the science class wanted to take me in because there were no special ed science classes. So I called him Mr. Lard because I didn't know what lard was. I'm being honest. I didn't know what lard was in 8th grade. No, 7th grade. I was a loner in 6th grade, but 7th grade, Mr. Lard, the whole class laughed, and that's when I knew funniness, if I was funny and just random and crazy, and the class clown, which doesn't get you respect, but it gets people to enjoy you and find you funny, people would like me. And people did. I actually made friends who were hot. Girlfriends. Not girlfriends, but friends that were female. And, yeah. And that's when I first started actually making, like, I became a dick. Total dick. I was mean to other people because I found out that if I was mean to others, it distracted the other kids that were mean to me to be mean to the other kid. And after high school, I found out that this was terrible, and I felt horrible for the other people that I was mean to. But once I got to high school and I was a freshman, I thought the things I was doing in 8th grade and 7th grade would work as a freshman. But it didn't. All the seniors picked on me. I was a loner freshman. Everyone's a loner freshman when they first start out. But once I got to sophomore year, I made my first sophomore friends who were freshmen. I always make friends that are a year younger than me for some reason. Maybe because I felt more superior than them, even though they were bigger than me. I was always small, because I always looked younger than my age. It's always because I ate less because of my seizure meds. And I was picky. Hold on. But these are the first friends I actually made in high school. Sean, Taylor, and Aaron. I always pick a best friend every year. But the ones in school that remained were Cody and Keith and Ben. Um, The only problem is they were freshmen when I was a senior. Or they were... Anyways, I grew up with a person that had the same name as me. He was like my little brother. And I loved him because he was little brother. My whole family knew him. My sister had a crush on him, apparently. Just found that out yesterday. He was my little brother. He grew really tall. He grew really tall. He's taller than me now. But, yeah, he's still a great person. And then in 6th grade, I met Ben. Ben was crazy. I don't know if he still is. He has a really mean sister, and the mom takes the sister's side. I learned his family, too, because I hung out with him all the time. I met him in the worst way. He rammed into me. I was making fun of him as I was doing that. And I was an 8th grader. He was supposed to be a 7th grader, but he was a 6th grader. He got held back a year. He always wore that red sweater and hid in it like a ball, where he would hide his legs because he was antisocial. I actually made him more social. Because I was like, not his first friend. He had other friends, but I became his friend in a weird way. I picked on him, he rammed into me. And then we just became friends. It was the weirdest way to become friends with someone. But he was weird, I was weird. But as the years went on, people calling him weird and all that stuff got to him. So, I haven't talked to him in a really long time. He began going to raves. He's the one person who won't do any drugs, ever. I don't even think he'll drink coffee. I've become friends with people with ADHD or bipolar the most. People with those things notice flaws in the world way more than people without them. They're interesting. They're interesting people. People who don't have those things are boring. Yet, they're harassed by their parents, by their siblings so much that they conform to society. I'm harassed by my older sisters so much. I still don't conform to society. I stay myself. Sometimes if I want something from someone and I don't see them as a close friend, I will conform to get something from them. Surely it's manipulation, but everyone in society manipulates to a certain degree. They do. It's just a fact. Some people say, no, they don't. I don't. Yes, you do. You don't think you do, but you do. Everyone does. Sometime or in their life they do, or they have. I don't want to get off subject, but I made friends with Keith. Keith was my 8th grade friend, my best friend in 8th grade. But in high school, he was known as Stony. He was still a really good friend. All my friends have had hard home lives, and that's probably what makes them the most interesting. But yet, all my close friends have not given up, but they've let people control their lives. The difference between a hippie and me, and a hipster, I'd have to say hippies smoke weed all day. They do drugs. They're about peace. I'm not that. I'm not. Hipsters are more, I can't do that. It's not gluten-free. It's not different. And then they'll change their mind because it's not new. Me. Always me. I've always been the way of thinking that violence can fix things. Because I've seen the way. I always see both ways. I always see that both ways of things before I make an assumption. I've seen the way of peace and it doesn't work. trying to fix things with peace has never worked. Being a vegan to save animals, the rich corporations still kill animals and they still breed them like crazy with hormones to create more faster, to kill more, to make more food. It's not going to stop just because vegans are not eating them. It doesn't fix anything. Putting things in recycling doesn't do shit. They still get mixed in the same landfill and put in the same place. But people think they're making a difference. Anyways, back to violence and fixing things. It is shown in history using force against something hasn't fixed it, but it's caused you to have power over something else. War creates war, but the person who is stronger dominates the person who is weaker. The person who is weaker dies. Surely the Native Americans, my people, were very peaceful. They were good people. They were great people. But they died. Why? Because they believed in peace. They believed in spirituality. While the actual evil people, the colonizers, they won. Why? Because they were brutal. They were mean. What I'm saying is the mean people are the ones who succeed. And a lot of people believe that you get places in life by being nice. Being nice and narcissistic are two different things. Secret nice and actual compassionate nice are two different things. Growing up with my family, I think my family is actually the reason I have seizures. Because I didn't have seizures until I was 4. I grew up with no bedroom until I was 20 years old. No, 16. My first ever bedroom was when I was 16 years old. I didn't have a bedroom until I was 16. I didn't get sleep every night. Every night I didn't fall asleep. I cried until I fell asleep. Why? Because my bedroom was a sheet separating the living room. I had a bed and a dresser. And a sheet separating as a wall. My family wouldn't even build me a wall. Oh well. No knocking. Okay. It's almost at 15 minutes, so I'm going to make a part 3. Maybe tonight, maybe later. Tomorrow.